Everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about the Wilson GST Prime game ball made by Wilson. You guessed it. I got this from Rare Athletics. I'm in Canada, so there's not too many places up here to get it, if any at all, at least domestically. So had to go on the hunt a little bit and found these guys through a couple of Google searches. They looked reputable. Nice website. Good team there. Got some help from one of the guys via email to iron out the shipping because it's a little pricey to get this shipped here. I'll be honest with you. About $180 Canadian for the ball, plus shipping. Took about 2 weeks to arrive, which is not that fast, but also I think I'm just used to the Amazon one-day shipping thing, probably like many of you. Let's talk about the ball. This is the updated version of the Wilson GST. Not everyone likes this one better. I do. I'll tell you why over the course of the video. Let's get to the features first and foremost. This ball has the coveted normal, I think, at this point for a lot of the Wilson balls, ACL laces. It also has the raised leather striping here that we're all accustomed to. Different feel than the rest of the leather, sticky, tacky, and very durable. Added to this ball compared to the GST are these black stitches that you see all over the ball. These stitches are there, according to Wilson, to add more grip for offenses where the quarterback doesn't have the ball that often or for that long. Stuff like RPOs. For me, I play touch football. There's no offensive line, and the rush gets there in 2 seconds, 3 seconds max if you get a really slow rusher, but it's pretty rare at the level I play at. So when you're getting the snap from the center, you're about 5 yards away from the center in shotgun. The rusher's 5 yards away from the center the other direction. So you can imagine by the time you get the ball, the rusher's already covered 1 or 2 yards. It's very quick. So you want to have this extra texture. I'll say right now, some people don't like the texture or don't think the texture makes a difference. I would argue that they're wrong, and I'll tell you why maybe when we get to playing with the ball. So first and foremost, the laces are a little less than 5 inches in length. The stitching here is, or the leather striping, I should say, which is stitched in, which gives you some extra texture. One side is about 3/4 of an inch. The other side is about 1/2 inch. This is standard on Wilson balls. These balls are all handmade. You can watch videos on how these guys make the GSTs. It's similar for the Prime. So each ball is unique. For me, it's not that big a deal, but on the side where the depth or the gap between the stitching and the striping is less, that 3/4 inch, that's the side I like to throw from. I don't always get that side, which is fine, because as you'll notice here, there's a pretty steep dive from the laces to the tip of the ball on both sides, which is nice. I really appreciate that. Wilson claims on their website that they make all their balls the same size. What they mean, I think, is the middle girth and the length, but everything else is basically up for grabs, up in the air as far as ball to ball because of the manufacturing process and also model to model based on what you want. This is a collegiate ball, and collegiate balls are just a little more little shorter end to end and a little more narrow in terms of girth, which is nice for quarterbacks with small hands like I have. The break-in process for this ball was pretty standard. I did a lot of the stuff that I saw online for this one. I have the Wilson prep kit, so I did a lot of brushing when I first got the ball. It comes in a very stark orange, partially because I think there's some dye on there, but also because I think they protect it with some kind of coating in shipping to stop it from getting moldy or whatever. Good idea. So I did a lot of brushing. I did the standard hot towel, wipe the dye off, let it dry, brush again. And then with this one, I also did shaving cream and leather conditioner. There's a number of different videos you can watch to see how that works. Basically, the shaving cream acts as a conditioner, but also takes off the remainder of the dye. I only have the Wilson brush. I don't have a power brush like you see in some of these ball prep videos. I've never played high enough level ball to even have the mud that people use. So what I actually did was just roll this around outside in my backyard for 20 minutes listening to a podcast, mudded it up a bit with some dirt from my garden, and let it sit for a day or so with the mud on it. This is really, I think, optional because as you play with the ball, it'll break in. Now, I want to talk a bit about the key feature here, which is different than the GST, these stitches. When I got the ball, and in other reviews I've seen from guys like Kyle, who I think runs a shop in Canada, and even Al, who I think likes this ball, but also says the ball doesn't affect the way you feel with it. Al plays in a league where I don't think there's necessarily a rush, and Kyle's version of the ball is not broken in. This one where the leather is very soft, and you can sort of hear the squeak. It gets very, very soft and broken in at this point, and I don't have it fully deflated or fully inflated either. When the leather changes to be very soft, you will 1000% notice that that extra little bit of texture on the tip of the ball where your hand is, it's there on purpose, according to Wilson. It'll make a big difference for you. The reason it makes a big difference, I think, is twofold. One, because the leather changes texture, like I mentioned, as it softens up. But the other is because, in my opinion, these stripes on this version of the ball, the Prime, are not quite as high contrast and obvious as they are on the GST, the regular GSTs. It's a little more, it's a little less, it's a little more flush with the leather, let's say, than it is on the GSTs. And the stitching here is also a little more flush. So it's not quite the same difference in girth, we'll call it, where the leather striping is compared to where there's just leather. And so it feels a little more flat, which is nice, but there are times when, you catch the leather either on the stitching or on the stripe itself, and having that extra little bit of guidance there at the tip of the ball really helps. For me, like I said, I have pretty small hands, so sometimes I catch the snap, and if I know I have to throw a quick pass, I'm not going to get to the laces. You do use this striping. You feel it on your hands, and it's really, really nice. I'll also add that I don't know if they did this on purpose or not, but even this GST print here, if you grab the ball, chances are your finger is going to be right over that print. And to me, that really makes a big difference. I like this ball. This is my favorite ball to throw. I'll note one other thing about the laces I think people care about. The laces here have a really nice nub at the top of the at the sort of lengthwise ends of the lacing. To me, what this has done is has prevented the last lace from sliding off of the ball. And in my opinion, when that last lace slides off the ball, it's barely throwable at that point for me, because my hands are too small. I need that little bit of grip to help me get it there, which is, has been really nice. I threw this ball yesterday night. I've thrown it a bunch. It's really, really a good ball. And I think if you're thinking about buying a GST or a GST Prime and you're unsure of which to get, and you have the money and these are available where you are, I think this is the one that I would choose. It throws better. It's, like I said, I think a little more of a dive here from the end of the laces to the tip of the ball, which has been nice. We'll compare it to the GST when we get to that video. But, I think this ball, if you have to pick between this, the Omega, which I also have and do not like, and the regular GST, this is the one I would choose. So Rare Athletics has it. You can probably get it from where you are in the States if you're an American. And if you're in Canada, this is really sort of what you're limited to, Rare or maybe one of these other sports shops that can do it for you. So the Wilson GST Prime, love this ball. Recommend it for players of all ages. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, man. I'm happy to help. I'm making the videos, I'm buying the balls, so you don't have to. It's the least I could do, because I couldn't find any of this stuff when I was looking for balls. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And thanks for watching. Happy throwing.